Do you want your staff to be more accountable? Well, so do I, and in this video, we're gonna show you how to do it effortlessly. Hey, it's Jason Everett from highperformancesalon.com, and I used to run a business that we had a lot of employees that were actually all over the country, and one of the issues we had was holding people accountable that we weren't invested in their day-to-day lives. Now, as a salon, you probably are seeing your staff on a regular basis, but you might have things that you want to hold them accountable to. Maybe it's wardrobe, maybe it's selling retail, maybe it's making sure they're upselling, cross-selling, pre-booking their guests. And there's a couple things that I want to share with you that we used to do in this other company that was really valuable in holding people accountable, and it actually requires a lot of self-evaluation. Now, I know that sounds crazy, like, wow, I'm just gonna let them self-evaluate, they'll give themselves perfect scores, but not if you set it up correctly. So there's a couple of ways to do it that allow you to be really clear about what your expectations are and make sure that they can self-assess and then self-correct. So when you have a persistent issue inside the salon, the chances are is that there's actually very little or no accountability in that area. And rather than telling them 100 times what to do, I would actually recommend with every position that you have, whether it's front desk, stylist, or somebody in the spa department, it could be that you just need to set up the 5 areas you want to hold them accountable to. So you might say retail selling is one, personality and like customer service is another. You might have another which is pre-booking, and come up with 5 different areas that you want to evaluate them in, and then use this 5-step scale for them to self-assess as well as have a manager assess. So here's the 5 things. So if they were to rate themselves as a 1, it would mean that an immediate change is required, like meaning that they're probably on the verge of getting fired. Number 2 is that they occasionally make mistakes. Number 3 is they perform job as requested. Number 4 is that they exceed what's asked of them. And number 5 is they create a new standard for the position. Now, why are those things so important? Is because what you want them to do is look at those 5 areas, right? You got all 5 sitting there, and if they're gonna say, well, I do the job as required, like, thanks, well, they're not eligible for a raise, they're not eligible to, grow in the company, to be considered as management, and so what you wanna do is like, let them see if they're like, well, I do occasionally make mistakes, and they'll start to see that they need to correct that area of their life. Or if they're going above and beyond what's expected, or they're being inventive and creative about what they can do in the future, that might be somebody that you wanna look for to add on to your management team, because it clearly means they're willing to go above and beyond and help others do the same thing. So if you wanna create more accountability inside your salon, do me a favor, figure out the 5 things for each employee that you wanna actually rate, use that 5-point tracking system, and schedule a regular meeting. Could just be once a quarter, or if you do one-on-one meetings every other month, you could do it in that meeting. Take a second, let them evaluate themselves privately first, you evaluate them privately, and then come together and discuss your results. And instead of reprimanding them and figuring out what you can do, they'll actually be able to self-correct, self-adjust, and be really a much better meeting for both of you involved. And if you want more great tips like this, would you do me a favor? We have a totally free salon owner Facebook group just for commission salons just like you that'll help you to better manage your employees, manage your team, and help make your life easier. So do me a favor, right near this video or in the link below, you can find access to that exact same Facebook group. Do me a favor, join that group right now, and I'll see you on the other side.